All right, it's another Vars III video. There he is, subscribe to him, makes great content. I've already said this all before, but he made a new video called Why No One Plays Zero Suit Samus Anymore. And if there's one person who's better to react to this to, I don't think there is one. I think I'm the best one, because I have the answer. It's because she sucks. Duh. It should be a 2-second long video. It's because she sucks butt.
It's been a while since I've covered an X top tier. One that caught my editor's attention and subsequently mine was Zero Suit Samus.
He said top tier. What the heck?
In Smash 4, ZSS was considered by many as one of the best characters in the game, at least prior to the advent of Cloud and Bayonetta. And even afterwards, she was a perennial top 10 character.
Yes, sir.
As she and everyone else transitioned into Ultimate, she received a combination of buffs and nerfs aimed at forcing players to weaponize a more sophisticated and flexible game plan in terms of neutral advantage.
Hot forward smash from Mars.
Overall, though, despite the balance updates resulting in a net negative
right
the universe, but given how Ultimate has more than 1.5 times the
I was on my SL
proportionally, being a top 15 character is equivalent to being a top 10. So for all intents and purposes, ZSS was still thought of as the top tier, and the results were indicative of this. Curiously, she's viewed a lot more favorably in Japan, whose players emphasize methodical, neutral, and punish game plans, as opposed to the West, prioritizing a more best defense is a strong offense win condition. And while Samus has no shortage of aggressive options, the changes to her repertoire don't, and with Nairo, the best CSS player back in Smash 4, relegating her to a...
Why does he gotta say that? Why did he have to throw that in there? Why do we... We're talking Zero Suit, we're talking other Zero Suits, you're wasting my time, Vars. No, I'm just kidding. I loved watching other players try to pick up Zero Suit and then just being like, no, I'm actually all set. I'm never doing that.
I would argue she's a hybrid of a lot of things. She's one part Mario, one part Falcon, one part Sheik/Joker.
Do I agree with this? One part Mario. No. When I think Mario, I think run up aerial. That will kill you. Zero Suit doesn't do that. Falcon, in the rushdown way that it's a little unorthodox, sure. Sheik, because of speed, maybe. I would compare her speed more to Joker than I would Sheik. And Greninja?
Someone like Sheik also has flexibility in burst movement options through Bouncing Fish and Vanish, but what Samus has that she doesn't is mid-ranged options. Even though Sheik has the uncontested best frame data in the game, its usefulness is diminished by how
I guess if you're looking at moves, you can better compare Sheik.
Or out, and her melee attacks are a bit more generous. Her hitboxes are very similar to Wolf's, where any attacks using her legs have surprisingly large hitboxes. Not long enough to be a sword, mind you, but like I said, they're relatively generous in coverage.
Comparing hitboxes with Wolf's makes her sound good, and that's the problem. I don't know about that, dude.
Lastly, unlike Joker, who greatly depends on Arsene for early % kills, or Sheik, who straight up doesn't have that option, ZSS has destructive kill power in the right circumstances, and she can also use landing neutral air into flip jump spike hit to kill you even earlier, an element that pressures her opponent into being very mindful of their positioning. ZSS
Why did he do that? What happened? I'm sorry, I'm watching this like, bro chose get up attack from this range?
And to top it off, she's fun to play and even more enjoyable to watch, which begs all the more question, why not that many players use her? What's more perplexing is that the answer isn't as conspicuous as it would be on other Why No One Plays characters. As stated before, ZSS has considerably greater representation in Japan, a prominent scene that's been touted for its players having a deep and comprehensive understanding of their characters. It should be stressed that Japan has considerably more equity in discussion over who should receive buffs or nerfs. I can't recall the exact details, but I do remember hearing about how Ultimate's developers frequently communicated with top players in Japan when deciding balances. And
so it's the Japanese players' fault. It's these guys. It's Kuro and Choco and Shiki and all the other Japanese. You guys got her nerfed. Why? Stop playing the character. It would have been fine. We could still be playing and having fun. It's your fault.
Version 7, coincidentally, was implemented just after Mars' phenomenal performance at Genesis 7, the point many regard as the peak of ZSS's career. On its own, version 7 would have done nothing to affect her standing. The berry timer on flip jump was one of the longest in the game already.
I think that's fair to be honest. I think the berry nerf
Version 7 complicated things though. Neutral air's almost non-existent landing lag was extended by 2 frames, while boost kick gained 2 frames of startup. On paper, they don't seem like a whole lot, but when you factor in the context of how they're used, they were critical enough to call her top tier status into question. But a big contributor to why she was still top tier during the early days of Ultimate was that nair spam in conjunction with Zair for a very safe yet dangerous neutral game. As for the 2 extra frames on boost kick, it obviously worsened her at a shield game, but also compounded with the previous nerf to flip jump's berry timer, no longer allowing her to get easy down B or down smash.
Bro, I pushed him.
Flip jump's berry timer.
I was like, what happens here? And then I ran into him. Bro, I literally pushed his body and it still didn't work.
Smash into up B setup set lower percent.
I didn't deserve
why
to
this
go Last talk with this guy.
The first official Ultimate tier list gave her rank 26, a far cry from her previous 10 to 15 placement. Not just conceptually either, results from all over the world have been compromised, with many of her best players no longer being able to place as high as they did before. Ultimate's top tiers are only really so by way of a small advantage they have over high tiers. As an example, the rank 3 character is Joker, who resembles Sheik in overall performance, but what he has that she doesn't is a temporary yet overwhelming power spike through Arsene. With that Arsene-based Joker is pragmatically a worse Sheik according to many. This would
why are we talking about that? You better loop this back, brother.
For ZSS, the thing keeping her barely stronger were the very things that got nerfed, no longer making her stand out in any particular way relative to
Wait, he's actually spitting. Wait, he was cooking up something delicious. That entire like 2-minute sequence of him just talking about kind of nothing rounded out like perfectly. Top tiers like excel in specific areas a little bit more than the high tiers, which brought her down a lot.
Actually, reason that she was still deserving of a top tier spot, but circumstances were actively working against her throughout Ultimate's lifetime, more so than others.
How did that not grab, by the way?
Is largely throughout Ultimate's lifetime.
I think I should have grabbed.
Several other matchups that were once even or winning, like Bayonetta and Diddy Kong, became increasingly more difficult through buffs given to them.
Okay, well, buddy, all right, let's not pretend like you know what you're talking about the matchups, okay? Bayonetta always beat her. Diddy always beat her.
Other previous top tiers received a similar treatment of nerfs, but unlike her, they still kept a lot of what made them stand out from the others. Wario's WAF setups were made a bit less consistent, but only the brain dead easy ones like laid up tilt into full WAF. Everything else from falling up air or stalling up tilt into WAF.
Wario never actually got super nerfed, bro. It was all a lie.
Palutane's downfall is Ike's neutral air was made less effective, but they compensated elsewhere, and he also still retains the same game plan.
True. They changed characters they wanted to nerf.
Just reduce the consistency of the game plan. What they did to Ike, Wario, and Palu was weaken their offensive pressure, whereas for ZSS, they didn't just weaken her offensive pressure, they weakened her neutral pressure. It's one thing to have to make a person have to work harder to achieve their win con, it's another to make them have to find another win condition altogether.
Wow, well said. Dude, I actually liked a lot of what he said. Characters that got like nerfed actually got like changed in like compensations for like their changes, like Ike with like the Nair thing. Like they took away how broken his Nair was, but they like gave him some stuff. They gave him like jab and like up B changed and stuff. But like seriously, they just took away stuff and just didn't replace with anything. They didn't change the game plan whatsoever. They just made her current game plan like worse. So people don't play her because she's hard to play and she sucks. Should have given her a grab combo for real. I would have liked that. I think even a grab combo from 0 to 30 would be really nice, because when you're thinking about Zero Suit at low percent, the only thing you have to be worried about is getting hit by up smash or combos into up smash, like forward air up smash, nair up smash, Zaire up smash. It's all like the same thing. Getting hit by stray hits at low percent is usually makes Zero Suit negative on hit. Like getting F tilted and stuff just doesn't matter. Getting back air doesn't matter. Getting up aired at low percents, you could actually punish her for up airing you at low percents. So like if they gave her like another low percent tool, it would be so clutch. And it's also pretty hard to kill with her too.